Hey everyone, just wanted to give you a quick update before folks head out for the summer. There's been a lot going on in Village Hall. I just want to make sure to let you know what we're up to. Obviously, one of the biggest discussions on the table is the budget. And this year, it looks as though we're going to come just under the 2% with about a 1.5% increase for the 2011 budget. That's down from over 8% when it was originally proposed many months ago, and down from the latest point at which we were discussing, which was about 2%. As far as the new 2% cap, the costs that the village faces that are actually within our control, that are part of the 2% cap, are actually under -1%, less than -1% of an increase, with costs that are outside of the cap. For example, healthcare and pension costs that are above the 2%. So it evens out to about what will be about a 1.5% increase. And when we were discussing this, one of the things that I argued was to make sure that we don't take this money out of the surplus, so that if we do face some unforeseen financial costs next year or the year after, that we are prepared with that, having a safety net and a cushion of a surplus. So we did make those that 0.5% out of cuts to the budget structural changes, whereas a surplus, using money from surplus, would only solve the problem for 1 year. So these are structural changes in the budget that will reduce that half percentage point years going forward. And so I definitely commend the board for making that decision and really trying to make sure to keep that tax burden on the residents as low as possible, while still providing all the services that people in South Orange have come to expect over the years. One of the other conversations that we've been engaging in as a board is a planning and strategy meetings. We've had 3 of them so far. We had our third one this past week, and in fact we may make this an ongoing process, making sure to look at our vision and our strategy for many years and making sure that we're prioritizing what we need to. So we looked at, we made ranking lists of priorities from each individual board member and myself, and we compiled that and basically looked at areas of the village where we think things are done well, where we think things could be improved, and then how high of a priority each of those areas are. And using that, we were able to determine that there are indeed a handful of areas that we do agree are high priorities and areas that we could improve upon. For example, public safety was an area actually that we all agreed was a very high priority, but that was also, there was an excellent job being done. But downtown development, business recruitment, restructure and organizing our committees, improving our workflows internally among the board and between board and staff, and doing a better job of communicating and marketing, and also managing volunteers. Those were areas that there was general consensus among the board, areas that we could focus a little bit more on as far as improving. And we talked a little bit about the kind of things that we could do to move each of those areas forward, but I think it was important as a workshop for us to make sure that we put those areas out on the table, that we identify strengths and weaknesses, and then kind of from that we can move forward with where do we really want to focus our energy over 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. We have a better sense of that right now, I think, than we did at least a couple months ago. And as far as discussing projects and issues that the village was currently engaged in and working on, we helped prioritize that list as well. And that's helped give me a really good sense, especially someone coming in new, where each of our board members feel we should be going and where the board as a whole feels like we should be going. Because whatever we do needs to be, collaborative effort among all of us. And one of the things that has come out of this meeting for me was making sure that as village president that I can put forward a plan, working with our board, putting forward a plan to really outline kind of a framework of how we can accomplish these things that we've talked about. Not necessarily a downtown development plan. We do have a vision plan that speaks to that, and we have a handful of other plans that speak to kind of fragmented areas. But what I think we could use is an overall framework. And so when I looked at, and I've started to outline this, which I hope to complete in September, And this will basically, it's broken up into 3 sections. The first section is why. And people who have been reading the news record of the patch or my blog have seen lately that I've been talking about how important it is for a government to explain why they're doing something, whether it's one particular project or even just on a conceptual, philosophical level. What is government here to do, and what is South Orange government here to do for the people that live here? And I think it's important to at least put those things out on the table, develop a concrete mission and vision statement that really provides context for the decisions that we make and the policies that we're discussing. So that's the first part, the first of 3 parts of this plan. The second part is the how. How do we get to the whys? Those are kind of the ends, the goals of our government, and what is it? What are the processes by which we get there? So the how part will hopefully result in a handbook that I've been discussing and working on with our clerk's office that will be kind of a guiding framework for myself and for the board and for our staff that work with us. Basically, how do things get added to agendas? How do minutes get disseminated? How do policies get discussed? At which different level of decision making does a policy go to? For example, is it handled by a staff person? Does it go to a department head? Does it go to a standing committee? Or does it go to the board as a whole? And I think differentiating between each of those areas of decision making and what kind of things need to be executive decisions by the village president or village administrator and by the board are really going to help us make sure that we are efficient with our decision making going forward. So that's the how, and that will again hopefully result. It should result in a handbook that we can pass from generation to generation of people that take office here to help provide a framework for these things. And the last part is the what. These are the projects. These are the things that we're working on, on a daily basis. And compiling a list of projects from each trustee, makes sure that this plan incorporates all of the priorities that our board wants to see. And that will that piece of the plan will be a prioritized project list of what we want to do going forward. And by separating things up into those 3 sections, the what, the how, and the why, I think that gives us a really good idea of exactly what we're doing, and I think it really will help explain and contextualize to the public and even to ourselves what we're doing on a daily basis. There are a handful of other things that are happening right now. I'll name a couple briefly. I don't want to keep you here too long in this video, but one of the things we're looking into is obviously shared services has been a discussion, and we're talking about fire, we're talking about recreation, we're talking about public works, and we're moving forward with code enforcement, which was already agreed upon. And these are areas where hopefully we can provide an even higher level of service at the same or reduced costs. Got to hand it to this governing body and the village for making really smart financial decisions over the past few years. And you look at the bad economy right now, and we haven't had to lay off police officers or firefighters, whereas a lot of towns like South Orange have. We don't expect to have to do that whatsoever because of this smart financial planning. And in fact, if we can provide an even higher level of service at the same or at a reduced cost, I think that's a real win for this community. Also, our IT director has recently resigned, and that is it's sad to see him go. He's a great employee, but it does give us an opportunity to look at how we can restructure and reorganize the way that we provide IT services for the village government. And our other IT staff person has really stepped up and doing an excellent job in working with us, and hopefully bring some interns in as well to help work on different IT projects. We'll also be holding a ceremony to honor the memory of the World Trade Center attacks from September 11th, 2001. It's a question that I've been getting a lot from people. And the South Orange Public Library, as they do every year, they do a really great job of compiling all the different events that are happening around town. So if you want to learn more about that, you can check out their website at sopl.org. The new bridge to the pool is open. That was some, I'm sure everyone has seen the construction going on, and now you can take a walk across and head over to the pool. And it's a really nice looking improvement to the really incredible Rahway River greening that's been happening over the past several years. And don't forget about the downtown after sundown concerts. Those are still happening, every Friday and Saturday night. If you haven't been downtown for one of them, definitely check it out. You go downtown for some outdoor dining and some live music, and that's brought to us with the help of Investor Savings Bank and Main Street for organizing that. So there's really a lot going on in town. We had a great series of summer concerts at Floods Hill, which were well attended. Saw a lot of people out there every single week, and hopefully we can continue to do more of that throughout the year, and obviously next summer and summers going forward as well. So this is only just a small summary of what's been happening. There's almost too much to list in a video, but I would encourage you to keep up to date on my updates and on our minutes and the articles in the Patch and the News Record, BaristaNet, the Alternative Press are all great sources of what we're doing, and there really is quite a lot going on. People can obviously drop me an email at atorpey@southorange.org if they'd like to talk a little bit about it, or obviously drop by my office hours, which are every Tuesday from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m., and you can email me to set up a time during those time periods or any other time as well. So we've got a lot of exciting things going on, and I think South Orange is really coalescing around these ideas of progressive development, especially now that the Bifas lot has been purchased and now the village is looking into 3rd Street and Valley and development plans there. There's really quite a lot going on. Let me know if you, again, have any questions. Be happy to talk. And don't forget to keep up to date with everything on the website, agendas, minutes, and videos of our board meetings at southorange.org. I hope you enjoy the rest of the summer, and I'll definitely talk to you soon. Thanks.